Kemi didn't sleep that night. Amara's words replayed in her mind like a slow, merciless echo. Love doesn't drug people. Love doesn't blackmail. By morning, her phone buzzed. An unknown number. We need to talk. Now. Her heart skipped. For a brief, foolish second, she thought it was Daniel. It wasn't. 2 days later, the call came again, this time official. Miss Kemi Adebayo? Yes. This is the police. We need you to come in for questioning. The room tilted. At the station, the air was cold and indifferent. Kemi sat across from an officer who didn't raise his voice and didn't blink. We've received a formal complaint, he said calmly. Drugging without consent. Sexual assault by deception. Blackmail. Digital recording without authorization. Her throat went dry. That's impossible, she laughed weakly. You have no proof. The officer slid a folder across the table. Inside were screenshots, voice notes, transaction records from the restaurant, hotel CCTV stills, a toxicology report, and the recording, metadata intact, timestamps unforgiving. Kemi's smile collapsed. We also have a statement from the victim, the officer continued, and corroboration from his wife. Victim. The word pierced her like a blade. I didn't force him, she whispered. He was there. The officer leaned forward. Consent obtained through intoxication is not consent. Silence. Heavy. Final. Charges were filed. Her phone and laptop were confiscated. Her job placed her on immediate suspension pending investigation. And by evening, the story had started to spread. Not publicly. Not loudly. But enough. Friends stopped answering her calls. Invitations disappeared. Her name, once spoken warmly, now carried caution. Weeks later, in a quiet courtroom, Kemi stood alone. No dramatic tears. No grand speech. Just consequences. The judge's voice was steady. Your actions show premeditation, malice, and complete disregard for human dignity. She was sentenced. Probation. Mandatory psychological evaluation. A criminal record that would follow her longer than her envy ever did. And a restraining order. She was never to contact Daniel or Amara again. As she walked out of the courthouse, cameras didn't follow her. There was no spectacle. Only the crushing realization that hurt her most. She didn't lose Daniel to Amara. She lost herself to jealousy. And this time, there was no one left to blame. Healing didn't arrive like relief. It arrived like work. After the court case, silence became heavy. Grief didn't scream. It sat beside Amara in ordinary moments. She cried, but she did not collapse. She chose therapy, not because she was broken, but because she respected herself enough to heal with intention. I trusted deeply, she said once. And I don't want to unlearn that. That was her quiet victory. She rearranged her home. Not to erase memories but to reclaim them. New light. A small plant by the window. Something living that responded gently to care. Daniel gave her space, not distance space. He showed up consistently, without demanding forgiveness. Some nights they talked. Some nights they sat in silence. Both counted. One evening she laughed. Not forced. Not polite. Real. She knew then she was no longer just surviving. She was returning to herself. She stopped explaining her pain to people who wanted drama. She stopped shrinking. She learned that softness, guarded by boundaries, is strength. Time softened what anger could not. Daniel changed, not loudly but steadily. He sought counseling, took responsibility, learned to sit with discomfort. He didn't beg to be trusted again. He worked for it. One rainy evening he said, I don't want the version of us we had before. I want the one we choose now. Amara nodded. Me too. They rebuilt from truth, not fantasy. Trust returned, not as innocence but as a daily decision. Their home felt warm again. Not because pain never lived there, but because it no longer did. Amara learned something sacred. Peace does not need explanation. And love, protected by truth, can survive betrayal.
Some betrayals try to break you, but if you listen closely, they come carrying a lesson. I learned that love isn't proven by pain, and forgiveness isn't forgetting. I learned that healing doesn't mean going back to who you were, it means choosing who you become. I didn't lose myself to betrayal. I found my voice, I found my boundaries, and I found my peace. I choose love, but never at the cost of my peace. Thank you for watching The Jealous Friend by With Tales by Mima. Do not forget to like, share, subscribe.